Hello, welcome to Financially Savvy in 20 Minutes. I'm Natalie Torres Haddad.
Hi, Carmita Hermosillo.
And we decided to do something a little different by doing our episode from actually a very cool space in downtown LA, the Skyloft, for today's event that we're doing, which is actually Making Money Moves with Millionaires. And we wanted to end the podcast by being grateful, by talking about what this year has been for us and what we look forward to provide as far as podcasters for the listeners and see what we can do. So kind of getting started, what have you seen has been real growth for the podcast this year?
For the podcast specifically, I think we have done really good in getting a variety of different interviewees onto our podcast. So I like that we're doing a whole different type of spectrum.
Yes.
So we have a lot of people in business, obviously, that come on, but all with different types of trajectories, and I think that's really interesting.
Yes, I love that because you're right. When I started this, the first 2 seasons was just strictly millionaires. We still have plenty of interviews with self-made millionaires, but I like the fact that you mentioned it earlier too, where a lot of people are just wanting to connect with someone, right? Kind of like I can't even think about doing 5 figures, 6 figures. So having these people talk about their expertise in their field, their challenges. One thing I can think of is putting you on this because the growth. If you're watching this on YouTube, you see that we're wearing our New Year's Eve hats. If you're listening, obviously you can't tell. But yeah, that was a huge growth as well because I love that, one, you're bilingual, so woohoo, another high five. You understand the concepts and you understand being able to talk to people. And hello, journalism was your background too. So her major, right?
A little bit. Well, it was PR, communications, emphasis in PR.
See?
But my career has always been in finance, one way or another. I'm happy to be on board with the podcast.
Yeah.
I also do the production work.
Oh my gosh, yes, she does.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And those that know me, I'm totally, maybe we can close it, I'm totally the Miss not tech savvy, so when she came on board, I was like, let's do this then.
The production work is hard for anybody.
Yes.
Any type of editing is hard for anybody.
Yeah.
Unless you're a pro, then you get to figure out what the issues are. And production is always problem solving. Those people that are into editing, pictures or voice, that it's always problem solving because you have to find just the right thing to edit and the right tool, and that's where you get a lot of frustration and anxiety.
And we learned something new because I did the mistake of doing this recording from the same place in front of the glass all wall. I mean, the venue is incredible. We'll have to show pictures of it afterwards, but I didn't know, and then Carmen says, hey, the sound is horrible.
The echo on it, I was like, oh my God.
And I'm like, is that the same from the actual camera and then the phone? And then it was the same thing, and so we learned something new, that we're not supposed to do that. And then secondly, I always think of, I'm grateful for you because one, I would have never been able to launch this podcast if it wasn't for Randy, who's doing amazing things. So we need to have on this podcast awesome. To hear what he's been up to. Him being a podcaster himself and producer, he knows what's up. And so when you came on, you were like, let's do this, let's do more interviews. And for me, it's always the time consuming that comes with it.
Yeah.
Planning the interviews, behind the scenes, podcasters know this. They said there's 1 million new podcasts every year. And more than half of those, it's crazy. I don't know if it was Podfest or who came up with the stats, but they said every year more than half of them fail within the first year or stop doing it first year. Because you figure out, this is a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's not just talking into the microphone. There's a lot of editing that has to go in behind it, and then there's a concept,
the planning,
and the strategy behind it. So it's definitely a team effort. But I'm happy to be on here.
And she keeps me on my toes because she's like, okay, let's sit down with the calendar. What's the brand? What's the vision? I'm like, don't know, and we'll figure it out, right? Because no one. I've talked to many podcasters, and I'm doing to be a little bit more, hopefully more frugal, but still have fun and be fabulous.
You know what? By trade, I am pretty frugal, honestly.
Good.
So I always, during the holidays, I always keep it really simple, and I only buy for my niece and my nephew.
Nice.
Which is, my niece is about, how old is she? She's 8 years old, and my nephew is 11. So, really girly things for my niece, and then for my nephew, he likes shoes. But what I try to do, even if it's only 2 gifts, I always try to buy one 2 months before, and then the next one I'll buy the month after. But what I do find that people can do that helps them ease attention with holiday shopping is if you save throughout the year, excuse me, specifically for holiday shopping or for Christmas. So what I like to do, just like my budget, is to put money away for specific categories. So I have like car expenses, and I have like things that are long term. What else do I have on my budget? Car expenses, you know,
Insurance, you have to pay.
things I have to pay. You know, I for sure like car registration. You know, that has like its own little bucket.
Oh yeah.
So I feel that if people can,
Sorry, I was gonna say property taxes.
Yeah, well,
that's another one on my bucket. I'm like, hey, what else do I have at the end of the year?
yeah. So I feel like if you just save $40, let's say each paycheck, which is feasible, I think.
Yeah.
It's $80 a month. That's close to about $1,000
Yeah.
by the end of the year, and that's a pretty healthy
Oh yeah.
amount, right?
I'm
like
sure
if you want to
you're the
buy
best
trip. Well, even just not for me, but you know, for anybody who has like, you know, a couple of people in their family, like in their nucleus family,
Yeah.
that's like a good Christmas. You know, I feel, you know, for the average family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't agree with you more. I have a huge family, both me and my husband. So we've done many different scenarios every year, and I think we've gotten better. We do the Christmas exchange gift, like the white elephant.
Yeah,
we did that a few times, and that's been helpful. We definitely give kids for the nephews, the little ones, and nieces. And our biggest thing is, like for me, I like to give my parents they love experiences.
Yeah.
So it's not like, it doesn't have to be an expensive one. My mom's just like, let's get together, not just for the holidays when there's everybody around. So we're like, okay, let's do a movie night where we all go to the movies together.
Yeah.
Or dinner literally just on our own. So there's a way where I'm like, I'm not spending $1,000 on, you know, my parents, but it's like, okay, hey, $200 for this entire weekend and do something fun, you know.
But also for like, you know, the food, if you're hosting, for your coworkers, you know, things that come up, you always want to make sure like you have the stash, makes it really comfortable for you to be like, okay, I'm not blowing like my bi-weekly paycheck, you know, that I'm getting each month.
And that's really considerate of you, because I think sometimes you forget that potlucks are crucial. I'm a big fan of potlucks because I feel it's unfair for the host to do all of it, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that you're saying you're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Right?
And one thing I also practiced last year in my office setting at work was just saying no.
Yes. And guys are really good at that. They're like, no, thank you.
Yeah, because you know, everybody wants to be friendly, wants to be liked in the office.
Yeah.
But it's so much, like during the holiday season, especially if you have birthdays on top of that, you know, we like to pitch in for the card or a small gift for our coworkers. And that's nice, but you know, sometimes you don't speak to that particular coworker.
Right.
And it's like, well, I'm not gonna spend money on somebody I don't know, and it's not to be mean, but you know, it's practical. You're being practical with your money.
I don't know if you remember that Friends episode where Ross just moves into the building and everyone's like, will you pitch in for our janitor who's retiring? And he's like, I don't know the guy. And they're like, it's just $100. And he's like, what?
$100.
I don't know.
I love it.
Before we end up the episode, we have to give a shout out to our camerawoman today. Happens to be Martha Grace. This is a cool thing. We've put a few pictures up of like the behind the scenes, especially the ones that we did at different venues where we had multiple people helping us. It's not just us two chatting away.
Yes.
Can you give me maybe a favorite experience or tip, actually, maybe that you like to do for shopping on your own? Do you shop on your own? So for someone that's kind of figuring out, like, okay, they have the budget, like you said, they've been planning for it. Is there any tips that you have before they go shopping? Or
I think shop somewhere where you can negotiate. So, you know, I have a swap meet down the street from my house.
Awesome.
How do you say that in English?
I think it's
What
swap
is it,
meet.
swap
I
meet?
think it's swap meet. Yeah,
Is it swap
it is.
meet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
swap meet.
Swap meet, so like or Craigslist, any of those apps where you can like barter or
Offer up,
offer up. You can negotiate the price.
Yes.
And also, if you're gonna go to the mall or any type of shopping center, it's like plan ahead, like plan it out like a blueprint.
and we're not getting paid by these companies, so if you guys want to sponsor us, reach out. We'll think about it. But it's helpful tips. I think that you're right. It's just kind of having that planning ahead.
Yeah.
We want to do a follow-up episode, especially for the new year, on things that we're grateful for and what obviously we're grateful for this year to continue. We're going on our third season. Woohoo! But more importantly is kind of how we reflect on what this past 2019 has been for us. Oh my God, 2020, I can't even say it. So we have some exciting stuff coming up, and we want to make sure you stay tuned for that. We'll do a Spanish episode recapping this, but you're going to see us shortly in January. So if you're not watching us on YouTube, listening on Spotify or iTunes, this is the place to do it. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us, because we'd love to cover those topics. Reach out at financiallysavvyin20minutes.com is the website, and We look forward to getting more of this information out, and we wish you a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys. Bye.